Kala kana ngari he kala kana ngari he wa oh ngari he oh ngari he ngari he ngari hanu angketa abum kala kana ki he abum kala kana nu angketa kala kana bua madi welcome. Just saying that the greatest man alive is also the good husband to people. Anyway, my name is Chimoge. Thank you for the returning people. Thank you to the new people as well. For the new people, let me give you two pieces of information of myself so you can understand me better, and then I'll get into the main topic. First, my given name is Chimoge. That is Chimao. G is in George, then E. Second, I'm currently in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, let's get into it. Um, I'm talking tonight, or this morning, depending on how you see it. Me calling my past lives. It's a clap. And then my ancestors already here. I'm talking right now about Noah Lyles and Junelle Bromfield. Those are two very famous track athletes. Noah Lyles runs for the USA. Junelle Bromfield runs for Jamaica. They recently, and this is language I'm going, because they're in a relationship with each other, but this is language I'm going to start using to be more technical. Now, this itself is not a dig at them. This is more just me trying to correct society, but this is the language I'm going to use. Most people would say they recently got married. I would say they recently had a marriage ceremony. I'll leave it at that. Let me move. Kala, kana wari, and wa. Kala, kana wari, So, and I see I've registered viewers. Thank you very much. Every view is a blessing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Kabranam Noga, calling my ancestors again. But anyway, they recently had a marriage ceremony, and that caused some controversy because some people thought that Noah Lyles reacted badly to something Janelle Brumfield did. I'll get into that in a second. But um, I just, because again, I don't delight in talking about relationships that potentially have issues. I really don't. But it comes up a lot, and it's part of my calling to talk about problems in romantic areas. So it is what it is. It's just they shouldn't be here in this world. But anyway, um, I just because I've seen some other videos that had pointed out things or had made complaints about the relationship, and I think I'd seen some videos of them talking. Maybe they did some interviews or something. I'd have to check and watch them again, but I wasn't totally comfortable that everything that I saw in those videos. Some of them were like maybe comments or hints at dynamics that looked weird. I have to look again. Forgive me for not being that concrete. But just now, I watched a video from about 11 months ago. It was a clip from an interview Noah Lyles did with Cam Newton on his podcast, where he was talking about the trajectory of their relationship because he proposed to her, I guess, about a year ago. So he's talking about the trajectory of the relationship, and it just sounded very messy. And I'm just gonna say this. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Just because a relationship is messy doesn't mean that it shouldn't continue. And there should be a certain degree of messiness in relationships under normal settings, just because the nature of romance is not exact. At the same time, the degree of messiness in modern relationships is now too high. So, the kind of messiness I'm talking about is in that second category, what's too high. Um, but that being said, based on his comments, it just two overall things stood out to me. One, it didn't seem like they were necessarily desperate to be in a relationship with each other overall, based on what he said. Again, when I'm saying that people have reason for scrutiny, I'm just saying we can begin an investigation. I'm not concluding it here. So, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they, do really want to be with each other. I don't know. Again, I'm not part of the relationship. But based on what he said, it didn't seem like they had a great desperation to be with each other. So that's already one red flag. Um, and second, I'm gonna say this. This is somewhat in line with what other people have said, and I'll come to the wedding, I guess, incident in a second. But it seems like Noah Lyles takes a bit of delight in like sunning her, you know, and I'll just leave it at that. Let me walk. Kalak, Unity, and Kalak, Unity, Kalak, Unity, kind of Kalak, Unity, Kalak, kind of So yeah, anyway, that's what I see. And again, sometimes I just take a walk because I don't like this standing. But anyway, going on to the wedding incident, what happened was, and again, I don't necessarily like all the dynamics surrounding this because basically Janelle Brumfield did a dress reveal on camera in front of the wedding. So the idea of that is that's the first time her husband, or I guess technically husband to be, if you subscribe to the idea that a wedding ceremony automatically makes you married. I'm just gonna say this: it doesn't. Now, having a marriage ceremony is one criteria that can make you married, because to be clear, marriage is a state of being. So if you've done a ceremony to christen it, yeah, that could add you being in that state of being for sure. But that by itself does not make people married anyway. But the idea is that that was the first time he'd seen her in the dress. I'm just gonna say this again. I don't know everything that went into that. I'm gonna note this is a common practice. So when a practice is common, you have to give people more grace. But that's kind of and I don't say this lightly. That is a very coercive dynamic again, because that's a romantic interaction there. Um, it just if that would be, just think about it. If that's the first time someone has seen someone else presented in a certain way, it's not healthy to expect a certain reaction from them. You see what I'm saying? And I'll just leave it at that. So that's there. But then what I'm gonna say here as an additional complication, when Noah Lyles saw the dress, basically he reacted in a way that most people found to be rude and thought disrespected Janelle Brumfield, as in implying she didn't look nice. Now again, you can already see there's a very messy dynamic there. I'm just gonna leave all that out there. But my whole point is a lot of people had a bad reaction to what Noah Lyles did. Um, Independent of that whole dynamic I outlined there. So overall, that doesn't look so good. And I do want to say something. Gut reactions are a piece of evidence, but they can go either way. Sometimes people's gut is off, sometimes people's gut is really on. You just can't throw it out as a piece of evidence. But it is something that, people had a bad gut reaction to Noah Lyles' reaction. Although I do want to again note that expecting someone to automatically like something they've never seen is not healthy. So there's a lot there. Anyway, these are two very prominent individuals. They're very famous. They're automatically powerful. And again, I just want to note this. You don't have to literally be the president to be powerful. A famous athlete has power. So because of that, it's of great interest to the public that they have a healthy relationship, if they have a relationship at all. So that should be investigated. Because at the end of the day, relationships are the bedrock of society. So if the bedrock of society is not well examined at the top, everything can fall apart. And that's basically what I have to say. Let me go for a walk. I'll come back. I'll share the stream, and I'll probably be on here because this is just the greatest man alive. I'll be on here until past the 20-minute mark, and I'll kind of repeat the point again. Anyway, Anyway, thank you for joining me. I also see a comment. Thank you for that. Every comment is a blessing. I read comments in my discretion. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please also patronize my business. Again, I'm going to be on here for several more minutes. But just to reiterate my point, based on what has happened and been seen publicly, the public have good grounds to question Noah Lyles and Junelle Brumfield's relationship, so it just should be looked into. Anyway, Kala Kanabu Amadio, Kala Kanabu Kike Kaka, Kala Kanamari Henua, Kala Kanamari Hey Ha, Abu Mamadio Madi Hey Ha. Abu Mamadio Ha, Abu Mamado Kika, Abu Mamadio Anime Ha, Abu Mamadio Hey Ha, Kala Kanamari Hey Ha, Kala Kanamari Hey Ha, Kala Kanamari Hey Ha, Kala Kanamari Hey Ha. I am a muddy 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 hey I'm a muddy neighbor hey I'm a muddy I'm a muddy boom 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 a boom a berry money ba a boom a berry he hey ha Abu me bere he hey ha ha. Abu me bere he hey ha ha. Abu me bere he hey no ha. Abu me bere he hey ha ha. Abu me bere be hey ho ha. Abu me bere be hem ha. Abu me bere kui hey no ha. Abu me bere mone ka. E bere wele bu amadio ha. The better buakua, the better on the hand of God. Look at the hand of God, ha ha. This is raka ka ka ka. Abu mo parara ka ka ka. Ratata buranu abu mamadio ha. Amadio ha. Abrunam bigo mezianeba. Ndu mimbuge biazo ka. Abu madoka ana medoka. Abum kasa kabaru 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 kaka do kasa do kasa do kasa hawa kanweri ndua 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 Abum shuku karaya shuku emejibu amadio ha shuku emejibu kika abum shuku abum shuku shuku amadio ha shuku kika shuku ilebu ha shuku all day abum shuku kaka abum shuku karaya Abu Mamadi anime ha Abu Mamadi ha Abu Mamadi ha Kalakana Kakaka Kalakana Maraya Abu Mekwe bere no 1K Abu Video Abu Video Welcome. My name is Chimoge. Once again, this is the greatest man alive. Let me just make my points again. Thank you to my returning viewers. For the new people, once again, two new pieces of information about me. One, my given name is Chimoge, and two, I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. The title of this segment of The Greatest Man Alive. The Greatest Man Alive is where I come to make a point twice. Once in the title, and second, just by saying it again, and I add whatever else I want. Kalakanu Nagafe Me Kanga Abu Neptune. What I just say? The Greatest Man Alive, whose number is 2, can go forward and do 3. The movement, Ikanga, same thing. Anyway, I'm just going on here. But anyway, the title is that the public have good grounds to question Noah Lyles and Junelle Bromfields' relationship. Noah Lyles is a USA track athlete. He's the current world champion and I think Olympic gold medal holder in the 100 and I believe the 200 as well. Anyway, very successful sprinter. Janelle Brumfield is also a very successful track athlete, an Olympic medalist for Jamaica. They have a relationship, and most people would label it they recently got married. I would just say they recently had a marriage ceremony. And again, that's not a diss at them. I'm just saying we need to label those things differently to be technical. But anyway, um, people have started to question their relationship and especially criticize Noah Lyles, but I've also seen criticism against Janelle Brumfield because of how he reacted to her wedding dress reveal. And again, I want to say this, that whole wedding dress reveal dynamic, and again, it's not just them. So many people do it. So I don't know everything that went into them doing it, but I'm just saying it here. That whole wedding dress dynamic is very abusive. The idea that, and I'll just say it the way it's presented, the man is meant to like how his wife looks no matter what, even though he's never seen it before in public, is just coercive. That's not good. So that shouldn't exist. At the same time, the way he reacted, many people interpreted it as being uh, excessively, I guess, offensive to Janelle Brumfield, which is potentially true. Again, I've seen it. I need to watch it again. It can be hard to interpret people's body language and stuff, and I don't know how they communicate between themselves. But um, even when expressing that you don't like something, which you have the right to do, you should do it within the bounds of politeness. So maybe he didn't do that, but at the same time, they've come out and said that his reaction wasn't bad to them. So that's something to look into. But more than that, um, I've seen some other videos of people criticizing their relationship, and then I've seen videos of them interacting where I saw certain dynamics, or at least hints of dynamics that didn't look healthy. And again, I'm just saying this is a disclaimer. I'm saying we need to look into it, but I'm not saying for sure that they have a big problem there. Because again, I'm not in their relationship. I don't know them. But we have to change this culture of just turning the blind eye when you see something funny in someone else's relationship. Obviously, the degree to which you investigate and how you investigate depends on the situation, but the default orientation should be to look into stuff somehow. When you let everything slide, you just have a bunch of romantic crimes like you do in the world today. Anyway, um, but what impelled me most to make this live is a clip I saw of Noah Lyles talking on Cam Newton's podcast about 11 months ago. And from what he said, I gathered two things overall. One, it didn't seem, at least based on what he said about the trajectory of their relationship, it didn't seem like Noah Lyles and Janelle Brumfield really were that desperate to be together. At least that's what it seemed to be from what he said about the trajectory. Again, I don't know for sure. And I just want to say this, just because a relationship is messy doesn't mean it should end. And I'll leave it at that. Two, it looks like Noah Lyles, at least based from stuff he said and the way he said it, takes delight in sunning Janelle Brumfield. And I'll just leave it at that. So those are things to look into. And that's really it. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to go do something else. I might be back earlier or later tonight or this morning, however you want to describe it. It's currently about 1 something a.m. here in Atlanta. But you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm kind of a night owl. Although you see me, I'm up around the clock. Anyway, thank you very much. Please patronize my business as well. I'll give you guys one bonus piece of information. Eat orange powder. Eat orange powder. It's good for your health and well being. Thank you very much. Shimoge and K Rom here. See you next time.